Remember the gentle twitch of a nose that could turn an ordinary day into pure magic? Welcome to Real 365. Today we look back at the unforgettable cast of Bewitched, then and now. Alice Pearce was 47 when she first stepped into the role of Gladys Kravitz in 1964. She played the nosy next-door neighbor who was forever spying on the Stephens family and trying to convince her husband that something strange was happening across the street. What made her Gladys unforgettable was the pure physical comedy she brought to every reaction. Her wide eyes, startled expressions, and rising panic turned ordinary suburban curiosity into something hilarious. Few people on the set knew that she had already been diagnosed with terminal cancer before filming began. She kept the illness private and continued working with quiet determination. For early viewers, her version of Mrs. Kravitz became the perfect comic foil, the ordinary woman who somehow always arrived just in time to witness the impossible.
Alice Pearce died on March 3, 1966, at the age of 48 from ovarian cancer. She completed only 2 seasons of the series, yet her work left such a strong impression that she received a posthumous Emmy Award for the role. After her passing, the character continued with a new actress, but many longtime fans still speak of Pearce as the original and most distinctive Gladys. Looking back now, her brief time on the show feels like a complete performance in itself. The nervous energy and complete sincerity she brought to those early episodes remain a quiet highlight for anyone who remembers the first years of Bewitched.
Sandra Gould was 50 when she took over the role of Gladys Kravitz in 1966. She stepped into the part after the original actress passed away and brought a brighter, more high-pitched energy to the nosy neighbor. What made her version distinct was the open theatrical quality she gave every reaction. Gould never tried to copy what came before. Instead, she made Gladys louder, quicker, and somehow even more determined to catch the Stephens in the act. Behind the scenes, she had been a friend of the first Gladys and accepted the role only after another actress turned it down. Over the next several seasons, she became the neighbor most viewers of the later years remember, the woman who could turn a quiet afternoon into pure comic chaos with a single glance across the street.
Sandra Gould died on July 20, 1999, at the age of 82 from a stroke following heart surgery. After Bewitched, she continued working steadily in television, appearing in a range of guest roles that kept her familiar face on screens for years. She lived in California and remained active almost until the end of her life. Looking back today, her Gladys feels like the one who carried the character through the heart of the series. For many fans who discovered the show in its later seasons, she is still the neighbor they hear in their minds whenever someone mentions the Kravitz name.
Elizabeth Montgomery was 31 when she first stepped into the role of Samantha Stephens. She played a beautiful witch who chose love over magic, promising her mortal husband she would live as an ordinary suburban wife. What made Samantha special was the quiet strength behind the soft voice and that famous little nose twitch. Montgomery insisted the character never feel like a cartoon. She worked closely with the writers to keep Samantha warm, intelligent, and deeply human. Few viewers knew that the actress was already a mother herself during the early seasons, and she often said the role taught her patience in ways nothing else could. For millions of families, Samantha became the gentle heart of the show, the woman who made magic feel safe and somehow possible. Elizabeth Montgomery passed away on May 18, 1995, at the age of 62 from colon cancer. After Bewitched ended, she deliberately stepped away from sitcoms and chose heavier dramatic roles in television films, earning critical respect for stories that explored darker human struggles. She lived quietly in Beverly Hills with actor Robert Foxworth in her final years. Looking back today, her performance as Samantha still feels like a warm memory from childhood for so many. The character remains the reason people return to the series decades later, a reminder of a time when television could be both funny and kind. Dick York was 36 when he first appeared as Darrin Stephens in 1964. He played the mortal advertising executive who married a witch and spent every episode trying to keep his world from spinning out of control. What made his Darrin memorable was the pure frustration that never turned mean.
York brought a nervous, almost boyish energy that made audiences root for him, even when the spells went wrong. Few people knew at the time that he was already living with severe back pain from an old film injury. The pain grew worse during production, yet he continued working through it for 5 seasons. Looking back, his performance still feels like the heart of those early years, the ordinary man who somehow made the magic feel real by simply reacting to it with complete honesty.
Dick York left the series in 1969 and died on February 20th, 1992, at the age of 63 from emphysema. After Bewitched, his health limited further acting work, and he spent his later years in Michigan. From his modest home, he started a small charity that raised help for the homeless, often making calls while connected to oxygen. He never returned to the spotlight in a major way. For many longtime fans, his version of Darrin remains the Manding member first, the husband who looked completely overwhelmed, yet never stopped trying. His quiet final years stand in gentle contrast to the chaos he once brought to the Stephens household every week. Dick Sargent was 39 when he took over the role of Darrin Stephens in 1969. He stepped into a part that already belonged to someone else in the minds of millions of viewers. Sargent chose a calmer, more composed approach, giving Darrin a steadier presence in the later seasons. What made the transition work was his quiet professionalism. He never tried to copy the earlier performance, and instead let the characters settle into a different rhythm. Behind the scenes, he had actually been offered the role years earlier, but turned it down. When the call came again, he accepted with the understanding that the audience might need time to adjust. Over time, many families simply accepted the change and continued watching, a quiet proof of how strongly the show itself held their attention. Dick Sargent died on July 8, 1994, at the age of 64 from prostate cancer. After Bewitched ended, he continued working in television and later became an open advocate for gay rights after publicly coming out in 1991. He shared his final years with his longtime partner and remained active until his health declined. In the years since, his portrayal of Darrin has found a softer place in fans' memories. Looking back today, he is remembered as the man who kept the Stephens home run seasons, bringing a different kind of patience to a role that had already become part of television history. Agnes Moorehead was 63 when she first appeared in 1964. She played Samantha's glamorous and endlessly disapproving mother, a powerful witch who never accepted her daughter's choice of a mortal husband. What made Endora unforgettable was the sharp elegance she brought to every scene. Moorehead had already built a distinguished career in radio and film, including work with Orson Welles, and she approached the role with the same seriousness she gave classical drama. She once admitted she never expected the series to last more than a single season. Yet week after week, she delivered that perfect mix of disdain and theatrical flair. For audiences, Endora became the elegant force of chaos who could turn an ordinary living room into a battlefield of wit with just a raised eyebrow. Agnes Moorehead died on April 30, 1974, at the age of 73 from uterine cancer. After Bewitched, she continued working in theater and television until her final years, remaining active almost to the end. She spent much of her later life in California, while staying connected to the stage world she had always loved. Looking back today, her Endora still feels larger than the screen. The character's theatrical pride and sharp tongue left a lasting impression on viewers who grew up watching the series. Many still hear that distinctive voice whenever they think of a mother who simply refused to approve of her child's ordinary life. David White was 48 when he began playing Larry Tate in 1964. He portrayed Darrin's ambitious boss at the advertising agency, a man always ready to please an important client, and just as quick to panic when magic interfered with business. What made Larry stand out was the perfect blend of charm and self-interest. White never overplayed the comedy. Instead, he let the character's desperation feel completely natural, which made every office crisis funnier. He appeared in more episodes than almost anyone except the leads, becoming a steady presence through all 8 seasons. Behind the scenes, he was known as a quiet professional who simply showed up and did the work without fuss. For many viewers, Larry Tate became the face of the ordinary world that constantly collided with the Stephens' secret life.
David White died on November 27, 1990, at the age of 74 from a heart attack. After the series ended, he continued acting in television and theater, though never again in a role as widely recognized. In his final years, he faced deep personal loss when his son was killed in the 1988 Lockerbie disaster. He lived quietly in the Los Angeles area until the end. Looking back now, his Larry Tate remains one of the great supporting characters of the era. The nervous smile and carefully measured ambition still feel familiar to anyone who ever worked in an office. For longtime fans, he is the reminder that even the most ordinary corners of the show carried their own quiet humor.
Erin Murphy was only 2 years old when she first appeared as Tabitha Stephens in 1966. She played the little daughter of Samantha and Darrin, a child who inherited her mother's magical gifts and often used them with wide-eyed innocence. What made her presence special was how naturally she fit into the Stephens household. At first, she shared the role with her twin sister Diane, but as the seasons continued, Erin became the sole Tabitha most viewers remember. The production carefully worked around her young age, yet she still managed to deliver those small moments of wonder that made the magic feel real. For families watching at home, Tabitha became the gentle reminder that even the next generation of witches could still be just a little girl trying to understand her power.
Erin Murphy is 62 years old in 2026 and remains one of the few original cast members still with us. After the series ended, she stepped away from regular acting for a time, focusing on a private life that included marriage and raising a large family. She has 6 children and is now a grandmother, occasionally appearing at fan events and sharing memories of her early years on the show. Looking back today, her Tabitha still carries a soft place in the hearts of those who grew up with the series. Many fans see in her the living connection to a childhood spent watching a little witch grow up on their television screens, a quiet bridge between then and now.
George Tobias was 63 when he began playing Abner Kravitz in 1964. He portrayed the long-suffering husband who listened to his wife's wild stories about the neighbors and never once believed a word of them. What made Abner special was the quiet, weary patience Tobias brought to the role. He had already spent decades as a reliable character actor in films, often playing the loyal friend or the tough but kind supporting figure. On Bewitched, he used that same steady presence to perfect comic contrast. While Gladys raced around in panic, Abner simply sat there with a newspaper and a sigh. For audiences, he became the calm center of the chaos next door, the ordinary man who somehow made the extraordinary claims of his wife even funnier by refusing to share them.
George Tobias died on February 27, 1980, at the age of 78 from bladder cancer. After the series, he largely stepped away from regular work and lived quietly in the Los Angeles area. In a strange final twist, the vehicle carrying his body was briefly stolen on the way to the mortuary before being abandoned. Looking back now, his Abner remains one of the most understated and effective performances in the show. The quiet skepticism and dry reactions still feel completely natural, a gentle reminder that sometimes the funniest person in the room is the one who refuses to get excited at all.
Marion Lorne was 81 when she first appeared as Aunt Clara in 1964. She played Samantha's sweet and endlessly confused elderly aunt, a witch whose powers had grown unreliable with age. What made Aunt Clara so memorable was the gentle chaos she carried into every scene. Lorne had already spent a lifetime on stage and in early television, and she brought that long experience to the role with quiet grace. In real life, she collected antique doorknobs, a hobby the writers happily built into the character. She would arrive through the chimney or by accident, often leaving a trail of magical mistakes behind her. For viewers, Aunt Clara became the soft heart of the Stephens family, the relative who meant well and somehow always made everything a little more complicated in the kindest way possible. Marion Lorne died on May 9, 1968, at the age of 84, from a heart attack. She passed away just before production began on the 5th season, and a role was never recast. Shortly after her death, she received a posthumous Emmy Award for her work on the series. Looking back today,
Her Aunt Clara still feels like a complete and gentle presence. Many fans remember the soft voice and the slightly lost expression more clearly than almost any other supporting character. Her brief time on the show left a lasting warmth that continues to define the kinder side of the Stephens family's magical world.
Paul Lynde was 39 when he first appeared as Uncle Arthur in 1965. He played Endora's mischievous brother, a warlock who loved practical jokes and never missed a chance to stir up trouble for Darrin. What made the character special was the sharp, playful delivery Lynde brought to every line. He had already begun building a reputation for comic timing, and on Bewitched, he found the perfect outlet for that talent. The writers quickly realized how well his distinctive voice and raised eyebrow worked against the more serious moments of the show. He appeared only in a limited number of episodes, yet each visit felt like an event. For audiences, Uncle Arthur became the relative who arrived with a grin and left the household in cheerful disorder.
Paul Lynde died on January 10, 1982, at the age of 55 from a heart attack. After Bewitched, he became widely known as the center square on the game show Hollywood Squares, where his quick answers made him a television fixture for many years. He continued working in comedy until the end of his life. Looking back now, his Uncle Arthur remains one of the brightest recurring characters in the series. The playful mischief and unmistakable voice still bring a smile to fans who remember those episodes. In the larger story of Bewitched, he stands as the relative who never took the rules too seriously and somehow made the magic feel even more fun.
Bernard Fox was 40 when he first appeared as Dr. Bombay in 1967. He played the eccentric witch doctor who could be summoned at any hour to treat magical ailments, often arriving in unexpected costumes from whatever corner of the world he had been visiting. What made the character special was the cheerful confidence Fox brought to every entrance. He never played the doctor as simply silly. Instead, he gave him a bustling professional pride that somehow made the wild outfits feel completely natural. Behind the scenes, the variety of costumes became a running delight for the writers and the audience alike. For viewers, Dr. Bombay turned every medical emergency into a small comic event. The one character who could walk into chaos and still act as if everything was perfectly under control. Bernard Fox died on December 14, 2016, at the age of 89 from heart failure. After Bewitched, he continued working steadily in film and television, including memorable appearances in both versions of the Titanic story, filmed decades apart. He lived in California with his family and remained one of the last surviving adult cast members of the series for many years. Looking back today, his Dr. Bombay still brings an instant smile. The colorful arrivals and unshakable good humor remain a bright corner of the show's memory, a reminder that even the most serious magical problems could be met with a cheerful British accent and a completely unexpected outfit. Thanks for watching! If these memories brought back a smile, feel free to share your favorite moment from the series in the comments.